Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving straight into the spectacular rise and fall of iSpoof. This was a notorious dark web platform that absolutely revolutionized financial crime by weaponizing something we all do every single day, trusting our phones. We're going to break down exactly how this massive industrialized criminal supply chain operated, how international police finally took it down, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself. So, let's get into it. Picture this. Your phone rings. You look down, and the screen lights up with the exact customer service number printed right there on the back of your debit card. Your brain instantly tells you, okay, it's my bank, I'm safe. But how do you actually know who's on the other end of that line? As we're about to see, that tiny automatic assumption became the very foundation for a massive global criminal empire. Because of that one simple vulnerability, just trusting a screen display, we saw over £100 million in worldwide losses. And honestly, that is just an estimate. In the UK alone, investigators linked activity from iSpoof to about £43 million in domestic losses. The human cost here is absolutely staggering, and it all stems from manipulating a piece of technology that was literally never designed to be a secure proof of identity in the first place. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The illusion of trust. 2. Fraud as a service. 3. Anatomy of the attack. 4. Operation Elaborate. And finally, 5. Defending against manufactured trust. Section 1. The illusion of trust. Caller ID vulnerability. We really have to start with the fundamental human flaw that makes this entire enterprise possible. The central weakness isn't just that a fake number pops up, it's our automatic assumption that the caller ID is somehow an independent, rock-solid confirmation of who's calling. But calling line information was just designed for convenience, like showing a local business number. It was never built for high-stakes security. Fraudsters basically take this spoofed number and combine it with bits of data they bought online, maybe your name, your address, or a recent purchase. When they recite that stuff back to you, it feels like absolute proof they are legit, but it isn't. It is carefully manufactured trust. Section 2. Fraud as a service, the iSpoof subscription. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because the economics of phone scams have drastically changed. Back in the day, if a criminal group wanted to run a telephone phishing or vishing scam, they had to build their own complex telecommunications tech from scratch. It was really hard work. But iSpoof? They totally transformed impersonation into a simple subscription service. A fraudster didn't need any technical skills anymore. They literally just paid some cryptocurrency for a ready-made disguise. Bam. Instant access to tools that hid the real number and swapped it with a trusted one. Because the barrier to entry was suddenly so low, the growth was explosive. At its peak, this platform armed roughly 59,000 users with the ability to impersonate banks, tax authorities, and other trusted institutions, all on a massive industrial scale. They even offered automated voice systems and PIN capture functions to perfectly mimic a real contact center. It was, for all intents and purposes, a fraudster franchise in a box. And this staggering volume? It resulted in about 10 million fraudulent calls over just 1 year period. Let that sink in for a second. At certain points, criminals were contacting nearly 20 potential victims every single minute. Millions of these calls were bombarding UK numbers. The financial devastation was profound. We're talking an average reported loss of around £10,000, with one absolutely tragic UK victim losing £3 million to this exact system. Section 3. Anatomy of the attack. From spoof to loss. So how exactly does this play out? Well, the attack always follows these 4 precise steps. Step 1, the spoofed call to establish credibility right off the bat. Step 2, they create artificial urgency, telling you your account is compromised or maybe even that a rogue bank employee is stealing your money. Step 3 is the capture, where they panic you into revealing a PIN or transferring funds to a so-called safe account. And finally, step 4 is the money mule layer. This is where the stolen funds are rapidly bounced through multiple accounts to dodge the authorities and get converted into untraceable crypto. This right here brilliantly illustrates just how dangerous this is. Genuine customers authorize these payments themselves because they are trapped inside a narrative that is completely controlled by the criminal. The fraudster often stays on the line with them while the victim uses online banking, or even while they walk into a physical bank branch. They literally coach the victim to ignore the bank's safety warnings and feed fake stories to the tellers. It really proves that technical security, like just typing in a password, isn't enough when a customer is being actively manipulated. Section 4. Operation Elaborate, the takedown. Eventually, this massive criminal supply chain met its match. Led by the UK's Metropolitan Police alongside Europol, international investigators achieved a massive breakthrough. They actually managed to infiltrate the iSpoof server itself. By analyzing the server data, payment trails, and crypto records, they unmasked the users. This incredible teamwork led to 142 initial arrests in November 2022, and that quickly swelled to 184 suspects spread all across 17 different countries. The climax of this entire sting operation saw the platform's principal administrator, Ted Fletcher, finally brought to justice. Facing a mountain of evidence gathered directly from his own seized infrastructure, he pleaded guilty to supplying articles for use in fraud and handling criminal property. In May 2023, he was sentenced to 13 years and 4 months in prison. A huge win for law enforcement, for sure. But here is the sobering reality. Taking down the visible website doesn't just erase the demand for these services. These crime-as-a-service markets are highly adaptable. Successor platforms popped up almost immediately to exploit those exact same vulnerabilities. Take Russian comms, for example. They allegedly enabled over 1.3 million new calls to UK numbers between 2021 and 2024, causing tens of millions of pounds in fresh losses. Taking down a platform definitely hurts the criminals, but the underlying threat, it absolutely remains. Section 5. Defending against manufactured trust, building resilience. So, what must we actually do right now to defend ourselves? For you and me, the absolute strongest protection is independent reconnection. If you get an unexpected call, just hang up the phone. Literally, just hang up. And whatever you do, do not hit redial on the number that just called you. Find the official number on the back of your physical bank card or inside your banking app and dial it yourself. Never, ever share your full PIN or a one-time passcode. And remember this golden rule. No legitimate bank or police officer will ever ask you to move your money to a safe account. But it's not just on us. Banks and telecoms have to step up too. Telecom providers need to use updated Ofcom rules to aggressively block international calls that are falsely displaying UK numbers. Meanwhile, banks have to stop just looking at single isolated transactions and start monitoring behavioral sequences. Think about it. If a password reset is followed by a new device registration and then a massive transfer, all within a few minutes, that is a huge red flag. Frontline bank staff also need proper training to spot live coaching behaviors and intervene directly before the money is gone. Now, it is definitely worth noting that since October 2024, eligible UK victims are protected by a mandatory reimbursement mandate up to £85,000 for these authorized push payment scams. But we have to be clear here, this is harm reduction, not prevention. It helps the victim, which is fantastic and much needed, but if the funds aren't frozen or actually recovered, the criminal network still gets to keep the stolen money, which just funds their next big operation. As we look ahead, artificial intelligence is bringing even more convincing language and flawless voice imitation straight to these dark web platforms. We are stepping into a whole new era where seeing is no longer believing and hearing is no longer trusting. So you have to ask yourself, the next time your phone rings and your screen tells you it's your bank calling about a critical security breach, will you be ready or will your trust be manufactured?